Well, it's that time to call out Spectrum News New York 1 again because yet again the crime is just getting ignored as usual. And you may be wondering, of course, now I'm giving them the new name COVID News 1 because that's the name that they just deserve to be called because they're just obsessed with this. In fact, it's not just New York 1, it's mostly every media outlet. And you want proof that there is an obsession with COVID? Just go on WBOC's page in Delmarva for an example. Just go to their webpage. Look at this. Tidal Health reducing elective surgeries, suspending visitation beginning on Monday. So it's not just, the media in New York being obsessed about it. I mean, you got COVID concerns. I mean, obviously I'm calling out WBOC too in a sense, but, at the end of the day, there's like a lot of media outlets just obsessed with coronavirus, and I understand with this winter surge, and I'll give my opinion about it in another video, but, this is just strictly focusing on the crime, and, New York 1 just doesn't even seem to just pay attention to what's really going on, and, I'm sick of it already. I'm just sick of how this TV station treats us, and obviously you look at the homepage, it's all about COVID. This is just ridiculous. And obviously they're talking about Eric Adams, politics. Okay, so they did have something about the man that was struck and killed by the bus in Queens. Yeah, but obviously no video. No video on their website. Meanwhile, let's just take a look and see, like, if you go to COVID, because obviously we're not even going to take a look at the section. Let's just take a look at this. Yeah, is New York 1 slacking off on videos? I mean, this is ridiculous. So, what should be on the homepage of New York 1's website is this big story that happened in Queens today. Yeah, this should have been on the homepage. But because we're New York 1 and we're addicted about coronavirus, that's what happens. So, this is from Laurel, and nobody covered it. In fact, we'll even take a look at CBS New York's YouTube to take a look, because if you Googled this, you can't even find it. Police closed off the intersection of Union Turnpike and Main Street, reporting a vehicle flipped and the driver took off. The driver took off into the apartment housing, according to witnesses. EMS is checking for injuries of everyone involved. Emergency services working on the scene. Reported the vehicle had fake paper plates. Police are now searching for the driver. So, that should have been on that page. And now we're going to take a look at CBS New York and see if anything is on here about it. Let's take a look. Just for an example. Nope. Nothing. Zip. Zero. Nada. It's all about coronavirus. Well, they do have on the news, but still, I mean, take a look at the New York news. Look at this. Nothing about what happened in Kew Gardens today. I mean, for crying out loud. There was a major accident on Union Turnpike today, and you're not going to have anybody in the media covering it. And then look at this, another similar incident. Police are on the Van Wyck Expressway at Jackie Robinson Parkway in Kew Gardens exit, reporting a vehicle flipped and the driver took off. Several vehicles are involved in the accident. The driver of the overturned vehicle took off into Forest Park. So that doesn't surprise me. Everyone has obsessive compulsive disorder about coronavirus. And we just have to take a look at what's going on around us. It's not just about the virus. Yeah, you can get sick even if you get the booster. But you have to also account for the fact that you yourself could become the victim of a violent crime in New York because of the bail reform law that Cuomo did when he was governor. So let's read this. Ozone Park man struck and killed by an MTA bus. So let's just read this, because obviously I'm only focusing on the news in Queens that's just getting ignored. So we're going to read this. Ozone Park man was struck and killed by an MTA bus at the busing transit hub on Roosevelt Avenue in Jackson Heights last night. Nazmul Ashan, 63 of 81st Street, was trying to cross Broadway just before 7:30 p.m. when he was struck by a bus. Police from the 115th Precinct in Jackson Heights responded to a 911 call regarding a motor vehicle collision involving a pedestrian, discovering the victim lying on the roadway with severe head trauma. EMS responded to the scene and transported the victim to Elmhurst Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. MTA has no further comment on the incident. Oh, so very fast by the collision investigation squad. The Q39 bus, operated by a 54-year-old male driver, was traveling westbound along Broadway with the green traffic signal in its favor at the pedestrian intersection located near Roosevelt Avenue. Oh, okay, so this is the victim's fault. Look at this. Yeah, I will admit, I have done this in Jackson Heights before, but now, if I'm ever back in Jackson Heights, I'm going to have to take my safety very seriously now, because it's a high-traffic area. I mean, I was last year in November trying to reload my Metro card. Yeah, so you really got to be careful in Jackson Heights. In fact, I'll take a look at this area for an example, and we'll just pull it up here. Okay, let's look it up. Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue. And trust me, you see what I have to Google. I mean, you see what type of news stories I have to Google that the media just refuses to cover. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Why is my traffic information here? Get rid of this. See if I can fix it. Hang on. If I can't get rid of it, I do apologize, but you get the idea. Okay, there we go. Now I got rid of it. So let's show you this area. So let's just get an exact area. Trying to cross Broadway. Yeah, so I know exactly where this is. Yeah, you really got to be careful in this area, because bottom line is, you have all the cross traffic coming from there, and, funny enough, when I was standing with Passengers United back in the fall, funny enough, that's where I was standing with Charlton. Funny enough. But yeah, this is a very dangerous area for pedestrians. No question about that. And, you think New York One would send a reporter to cover it? No, they don't. They just are too obsessed about the virus. It's just... Ugh. And then look at this. Police impersonator robbed teen knife point. So we're only focusing on the stories in Queens that are just getting ignored. Because again, like I said, even before the pandemic, Queens has become Staten Island 2.0. We're just forgotten here in Queens. We don't matter anymore. Let's read this. During the evening of Monday, November 15th, in the vicinity of 107th Avenue and 111th Street, the suspect approached an 18-year-old male victim and told him he was a police officer. He then told the teen that he had a firearm and a knife before he pulled out the knife and told the victim not to move. The assailant removed the victim's wallet, cell phone, and keys and fled the scene on foot northbound on 112th Street. Crime Stoppers released surveillance video of the suspect, who was described as a black man who was 6 feet tall and weighs between 160 and 180 pounds. So let's just play the video while I read the last part here. He was last seen wearing a blue baseball cap, a black hooded jacket, dark colored pants, and dark colored shoes. So, as I said, nobody wants to admit that if you don't get sick from COVID in the state of New York, mind you, again, like I said earlier, you are more of a chance of being the victim of a violent crime than catching COVID right now. It's anywhere in the state. Anywhere. It's not just the city, it's Long Island too. You know, somebody walked into a gym in Long Island the other day with a gun. With a gun. You tell me we're not facing a problem with violent incidents in our state. Because we certainly are right now. And again, I'm only focusing on Queens because, again, we have so much we got to cover. I got 4 more stories I need to read. 4 more. So I'm going to read them because they have to be talked about. Because New York One is refusing to talk about it. First up on the agenda. Stabbing in Hollis. 25-year-old man was stabbed to death on a dead-end street in Hollis on the evening of December 21st. In fact, Laura Uhl covered this one. Police from the 103rd Precinct in Jamaica responded to a 911 call regarding an unconscious man at 9:30 p.m. at the intersection of 197th Street and Carpenter Avenue. Upon their arrival, officers then discovered the victim was stabbed multiple times to his torso. The victim was taken to nearby Jamaica Hospital where he was later pronounced dead. The identity of the deceased is being withheld pending family notification. There are no arrests, ongoing investigations, so. Yeah, New York One ignored that. And then we got this. Let's see. Sure this happened in Queens. I mean, why wouldn't this be? Yeah, here we go. Off-duty police officer was arrested last night and charged with drunk driving after an early morning fender bender. Police officer Patrick Gross was driving on the expressway just before 4 a.m. when he allegedly struck a vehicle just before exit 31 for the Cross Island Parkway. Police from the 111 precinct in Bayside responded to the scene and found both motorists uninjured, but Gross was uncooperative. The 5-year veteran of the force had slurred speech, bloodshot eyes, and smelled of booze. He was taken into custody and charged with driving while intoxicated, DWI, driving while impaired due to alcohol, and refusal to take a breathalyzer test, adding that the NYPD immediately suspended Officer Gross's pay. So, sure, they'll talk about how the NYPD has to wear a mask while they're on duty, but they won't talk about one of their very own getting arrested for DWI. Yeah. That's New York One's double standard right there. Police looking for 2 men dressed as construction workers as they robbed a bodega in Springfield Gardens. Police from the 105th Precinct in Queens Village are searching for 2 gun-wielding suspects who allegedly robbed the Springfield Gardens bodega on December 19th. At around 3 p.m., the 2 men were wearing construction uniforms, including hard hats and reflective vests, as they entered the store at 136-35 Springfield Boulevard and pulled out handguns. They forcibly removed $3,000 in cash and approximately took $3,000 in scratch-off lottery tickets from store employees before taking off in an unknown direction. Thankfully, no injuries. We do have a video, so let's see if we can play it. Here we go. So, one of the suspects was walking behind the counter and demanded money, and of course, the scratch-off tickets. He was seen wearing a blue hard hat, black face covering, and a yellow and orange reflective vest over a gray sweatshirt and blue jeans. And not to mention, they forgot to show that he was wearing a face covering, so. Obviously, these criminals can get away with it because it's COVID, and it's obviously easy to cover your mouth with the face masks now. No arrests have been made. There is an ongoing investigation. So. Lastly, we're going to take a look at this article. Police from the 103rd Precinct, 109 Precinct, are looking for a male fishing female suspect on Main Street in Flushing. I don't know if this is a woman, but again, I could get canceled for saying that. Whatever. So here we go. On Friday, October 29th, a 33-year-old woman mailed a Citibank official check for $41,988 in a mailbox at 41-65 Main Street. The victim was later notified that the intended receipt never received a check. The check was intercepted and forged by an unknown means and was cashed by an unknown individual on Saturday, October 30th at 6:14 a.m. inside of a Chase ATM at 40-28 College Point Boulevard. The NYPD released a surveillance image showing an Asian woman with blonde hair with a light complexion. Suspect was last seen wearing a black jacket. So that's going to wrap this up. I mean, that's all the news in Queens. New York 1 is ignoring and is, again, just completely forgetting about us. And again, we do not deserve this treatment. We really don't. I mean, I don't know how people in Staten Island take it, but we've got to take a stand and tell this TV station off. And tell the other media outlets, you need to stop obsessing over COVID. Stop it. You can literally spend 2 or 3 minutes of your newscast talking about the crime. But no, we don't want to do that. So I'm just going to say that please take your safety seriously, because I don't know how I've had good luck this week being out, but thank goodness I only have to go out one day next week. I have one more day to be out tomorrow. So that's it. Thank you for watching.